Looking for a great place for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? There's no better place than Harbor Cove Cafe. This hidden treasure, located in the beautiful Ventura Harbor, is locally owned and operated and serves your favorites like hamburgers, sandwiches, and fish and chips, as well as island specialties like their delicious Loco Moco and famous Hawaiian burrito. Enjoy the magnificent view of Ventura's famous Two Trees and the Topa Topa Mountains while you sip on something from their full espresso bar, or perhaps tip back a cocktail mixed up by the legendary Dazu Prime. For more information, please visit online at harborcovecafe.net or give them a call at 805-658-1639. Harbor Cove Cafe, located at 1867 Spinnaker Drive in the Ventura Harbor. We'll see you there. And now you can see the Anime and Alcohol Show in all its video glory on our YouTube page at roughedge.tv. It's Sunday morning, 8 a.m. That means it's time to drink some beer and talk some anime and other stuff. This is the Anime and Alcohol Show, live here on Rough Edge FM, with your host, Devin Crow. All you.
All me. All me. Is my mic? I'm not hearing me.
I'm not hearing you either.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, that's odd. All right, we'll work on that. This is the Anime and Alcohol Show, and we already have an issue. When I came in, the power had gone off here at the studio, so I had to reset everything, and apparently I reset something wrong. But I can fix it. I can. So just give me a second, and I will fix it. I'm going to probably have to remove you. There goes Devin. He'll be back.
I've been removed.
This is modern stagecraft here. This is what you get to see these days.
Yeah.
On these stop extra camera. These modern shows. This should be the same microphone. So I don't know why you're not there. 2, 3. Let's try. Just try a little good at getting you back on there. All right, talk.
Nope. Still not. I'm not hearing me.
It looks like it's coming through on this end, but not as much as it should. Audience, we got one of you out there. Can you hear Devin at all?
Yeah, is Andrew there? Can you hear me?
We're waiting for this. I've been gone for about a week.
Yeah,
I was up in Las Vegas and Laughlin. Yeah. It was kind of weird being in Las Vegas and looking at Trump Tower all half blown up because the windows are all shattered, in certain areas. I took a picture. I'll show you that.
From that Cybertruck.
Yeah. So that was kind of weird.
Well, originally people thought it was just a failed Cybertruck, but it looks like it was an actual
another lunatic.
Yeah,
there's way too many lunatics out there these days.
Because the guy was in the truck when it blew up.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Haven't heard from.
We had quite a bit, and then there was that attack on.
Oh my God, that thing!
Street.
Oh, that's horrible. That is just absolutely horrible. It's infuriating.
I don't know why I didn't just do this. I can just unmute my microphone. Here we go. Let's see.
Well, that'll work for this.
Yeah, you can hear me fine.
Oh, okay. That's weird. It's not going through, but it is what it is. So, all right. So anyway, this is the Anime and Alcohol Show, and we do have some alcohol coming up, unfortunately.
Yeah. New stuff dropped. We have some new anime that started. Most of the season starts next week, but we have had a few early showers in the group. So
yeah. So we're going to talk about those today.
Yeah.
And we're going to ignore that ad that pops up right in the middle of our show. Thank you very much. All right, so let's get to it. So we started off. Which one do you want to start off with?
We'll start off with the one that aired first, and that is Behemoth. I'm an S-ranked monster, but I live in an elf girl's pet. We talked about this as some of the animes that were announced, and this aired on the 30th, I think.
So it's
30th. I think it aired on the 28th. Actually, it's a High Dive exclusive. And I remember watching it shortly after last week's show. So either Sunday or Monday I watched it. But I think it aired on Saturday. I think it was Friday or Saturday. And
I'm trying to find our video to make sure we're good, but just keep going.
I already found it. I have literally just do a little unmute here.
Yeah, but are you watching YouTube or are you watching
Twitch?
Twitch. So it's working on Twitch.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll just.
It doesn't sound like it's my mic's picking up. It sounds like it's picking up.
Well, that's not good because that sounds terrible. But as long as you can hear it there,
yeah,
we're okay. So we're okay. We'll keep going. Sorry about that, folks.
But it starts off. It's a kind of a reincarnation, not an isekai, because he was already in this fantasy world. He just got reincarnated as a monster, and he goes to drink some water, and he realizes that he looks like a cat. And then he has like a whole status. You know, he looks at his status, and it says he's a juvenile behemoth. And he finds out that if he eats a monster, he gets the skill, and then he ends up, eating multiple monsters and getting multiple skills and stuff. And he ends up seeing this elf girl, this very, very busty elf girl in the dungeon, and saves her. And then, oh, I just heard you.
Yeah, I'm a monkey with things over here. Something's going on. Keep going.
Okay.
I have an idea.
You have an idea. And so he ends up saving her he gets beat up. That's what happens. Sorry. He gets beat up. She saves him. There we go.
All right. Sorry about that, folks.
So she saves him and brings her back to, wow, it's really loud. I was not.
I'm turning it down.
Oh.
Like I said, we lost all of our power this weekend, so everything was misset, and I didn't have mic 3 set up, but it's set up now. So we're good.
Okay. And so he ends up getting saved by the elf girl, and she patches him up because he thought he was going to die to a monster. And then he finds out that she's an adventurer, like a solo adventurer, and she's been going in, and he's kind of evaluating her and all this other stuff. And then he ends up saving her and then she goes to the guild, which is a very unique adventurers guild. It totally caught me off guard when they walked in, and there's like these giant buff dudes in mankinis. Do you know what a mankini is?
I do.
Okay. Giant buff dudes in mankinis with lipstick on. And then she starts getting harassed by an adventurer. Yes, basically those. Yep. The Borat mankini.
We'll share that with you here in a second, folks.
Please don't. No, I don't want to get banned off of Twitch.
Will they ban us for that?
Oh yeah, they'll ban you for dumb shit.
So
like
just
that. Google
mankini.
Yeah, it's basically the green outfit that Borat used in his video. So and she's getting harassed because this sleazy adventurer wants her to join the party, and then he jumps in, the little cat behemoth jumps in and defends her, and it gets kind of weird from there. It gets really weird. She gets drunk, and she's like rubbing his belly at the guild, at the guild tavern bar or whatever it is. And like she starts like blushing and shit, and you're like, this is gonna turn into like a fucking weird hentai.
Yeah.
And
hentai, that's the word I was looking for.
They draw his dick and balls in there. It's like cat balls. Yeah, like, but they really emphasize the cat's nuts in this anime, which is hilarious. But there's a bit of nudity in it as well. There's a bath scene, and it's uncensored, which I think is fantastic because I cannot stand that.
I'm surprised that they show anything. What's the rest of that show's title?
S-rank monster living as an elf girl's pet.
I don't know why we're looking for a pair of balls, because Devin won't let me post it anyway. But it's not like they don't have pictures of that I can find. Yeah. I'm sure they exist because people have posted them. And
he rests on her chest. There's a picture of her of him resting on the chest. First picture on the left there.
He's smart.
Yeah. So there's a bit of nudity in there, which is fine. I cannot stand when shows censored,
pixelate it all out or whatever.
Pixelate it, or you get light bars or mist. The mist actually doesn't bother me that much because at least it makes sense when they're in like a bath and then there's like steam and stuff covering them.
That's not necessarily censorship. That may be an artist choice.
Yeah,
do that. They do that in the movies all the time.
They do that in the mangas as well, where they'll be like, but a lot of times breasts aren't censored. But so what ends up happening is because the cat attacked the adventurer, that the cat went to the domain lord and requested that the cat be euthanized for attacking somebody, and then he said he would rescind the euthanasia order if she decides to marry him. So the other option would be to go on a one-on-one fight with this adventurer, and if she wins, the cat gets to live and he'll never bother her again. But if she loses, he's got to marry her. That was so because he was a higher ranked adventurer. I think he was an A rank adventurer and she's like a C rank, that they're pretty much going to lose kind of thing. So the guild master says, if anybody wants to join in and help, they're welcome to help to kind of even the odds, and no one joins in, but the cat joins in. So
cats are known for that.
Yeah. So the cat joins in and, he gets kind of a chuckle out of it. But the cat doesn't want to reveal that it knows magic, because then people are going to think it's a monster, and then people are going to want it dead, kind of situation.
They'll hunt it down. The villagers will hunt it down with torches.
Yeah. So the elf girl's losing pretty badly because obviously this adventurer is pretty skilled. So the cat ends up deciding to use magic and uses like iron body, which you can make it like this whole rock thing around his body basically, and breaks the adventurer's sword when he goes to swing and hit the elf girl. And then he uses, I think, like stone bullet or something like that, and then defeats the adventurer. And everyone's like, oh my god, what's going on? Well, there's another creature called an elemental cat. So now they all think it's an elemental cat, and everyone's all stoked, like, oh my god, it's a rare cat. And so he's like, oh fucking thank god, saved by that. And that's where the anime episode ends. It's super cute. It's the problem is the main problem I have with this anime is that the elf girl's tits are way too big.
Why is that a problem? I know this because in that type of anime they're usually not, or what?
No, big tits are very normal in animes, but like the problem is she is so out of proportion. Like, I mean, her bust size is as far out as she is tall, and it's pretty crazy. Like, gets out, it's kind of distracting.
Yeah.
If she was just like a cup size or two smaller, it would be perfectly fine. But they are so big, it is just unwieldy. Like, you would think, how can this person walk upright at all? I mean, the gravity is really fighting this poor woman.
Well, yeah, but maybe some people like that.
Yeah. Also, interesting enough, when there was a bath scene and she's in the bath and her tits are out. She had big nipples too, which is very uncommon for anime. Normally they kind of draw very small nipples, and she had very large nipples, which is proportionate to her fucking tit size. So, they have a theme there. Everything's big. Yeah. But no, normally, you have like, huge tits and really tiny nipples on these things. They look like, giant fucking pillows with a couple of raisins in the middle of them. No, not this one. It's accurate. It's definitely accurate. I really enjoyed this one. The story's cute. It gets a little weird with her relationship with the cat, when she's rubbing his belly and stuff. It got kind of awkward, but I mean, I'm looking forward. I think the new episode, I think it aired today, to be honest. Yeah, I think it aired today. So, and that's a High Dive exclusive.
High Dive exclusive.
Yeah.
And I'm a behemoth, an S-ranked monster, but mistaken for a cat. I live as an elf girl's pet.
Yes.
Try saying that one long breath. Okay. That's okay. So you give that one a thumbs up.
Yeah. Another funny one that hasn't aired yet, I think it airs this week on High Dive, is I think it's called Dad's Been Reincarnated as a villainess or something like that.
Find out.
Yeah. From bureaucrat to villainous, Dad's been reincarnated.
That's it. That's the whole name of the series.
Yeah. That's a very interesting one. That's on High Dive as well. That's on January 9th. You can see that's him there, and that's who he's been reincarnated as.
I gotta say, there's something very interesting about that artwork.
Yeah.
Now, why is that? There's a typical style for animes. That does not look like your typical anime.
I mean, to me, it does.
Really?
Yeah, to me, it does. It definitely. It looks very anime-esque.
I mean, I can see anime features in there, but it looks just different to me. But what the hell do I know? I'm gonna show everybody this here right now. See what they think about it. I don't want that. I want that. Got to do the conversion. And so anyway, go ahead and keep talking.
Yeah, from bureaucrat to I don't know a whole lot of it. It hasn't aired yet, so I thought it's really funny that that's an anime title. That's a manga.
It is a good title.
Yeah,
yes. It's coming up here right now, and then we'll pop it up here for you folks.
Yeah, from bureaucrat to villainous, and it's essentially he gets reincarnated into an otome game. An otome game is like a dating sim. It's a dating simulator game. And you play as a character, and there's always like a in those otome games where there's like a bunch of guys like fighting for the same girl kind of thing. There's always like a villainous in that game, and so he's been reincarnated into the game, he's trying to figure out why he was reincarnated into this game and how he's going to do this as a dude in a high school girl's body.
Now, here's the thing. I'm looking at this again, and I see the father's the one that really strikes me as not being anime. Now, maybe I just haven't seen enough of these characters. Now, you don't see a lot of suits and ties in animes.
Yeah, I mean, especially the animes that I watch, and typically the suit and tie stuff, especially the reincarnation stuff, you see that, and then they reincarnate into a new world, and then they have like fantasy attire kind of situation. So
okay, that makes sense. Then.
Yeah.
All right, and the other thing is that he does look like a villain in a Godzilla movie. He does. So that still fits that as well.
He totally does.
As far as her character, I'm assuming is she wearing glasses there? Is that shade? What is that?
No, it's just like kind of like shade.
So she's got bang shade.
Yeah, bang shade. That's what it was.
All right, good. All right, just curious because it looked when I first looked.
I'd like to bang that shade. Am I right?
All right, what else we got? So anyway, you haven't seen that one yet.
I haven't seen it. Airs on the 9th, so that's next week. Yeah. So a lot of the new stuff is airing next week. So we have some straggler stuff like Solo Leveling that aired Solo Leveling season 2, and it's just covering what the movie did. Basically, the first couple of episodes is going to be the movie, and the first episode was an absolute banger. So everyone knows. It's so funny. I was watching it, and the intro comes on, and the opening song is playing, and then someone starts singing, and I was sitting in bed, and Letitia was there, and I was like, is that Stray Kids? And like Letitia looks up, Stray Kids is a K-pop group.
Okay.
And that has a very distinct rapper. His voice is very distinct. He has a very super deep voice. It's really crazy. And Letitia looks up, and as she's looking up, the name of the song and who's singing it comes up, and it's Lisa, and Lisa is a very well-known singer in the J-pop singer. And then it says featuring Felix from Stray Kids, and she's like, Jesus, yeah. She's like, oh, that's Felix from Stray Kids, and I was like, oh shit. She's like, kind of impressed you knew that just from hearing the voice. He has a very distinct, super deep voice. So, but Solo Leveling is a Korean manhwa, which is essentially a Korean manga.
Okay,
they call them manhwas there.
Interesting.
And so, but the first episode was good, really entertaining. Liked it.
And what's the name of that one?
Solo Leveling.
So that's all?
Yeah.
2 words?
Just 2 words.
There's no way.
Well, it's Korean manhwa, so.
It should be Solo Leveling the time I woke up and found out I was a cat under a devil.
Yeah. So I think if Solo Leveling was a manga, it would probably be called like Solo Leveling the time I almost died in a dungeon but became crazy overpowered from a cheat skill.
Okay. So yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I think that's probably the best Japanese manga title I could give Solo Leveling.
That was pretty good.
Yeah,
I have to give you credit for that.
Or it's like Solo Leveling the time I got an overpowered cheat skill from almost dying in a dungeon. Let's go.
All right, so what else we got here?
So the next one I watched was
you watched a bunch.
I did. There's again some stuff's been airing. Fruit Master was the next one I watched. Now very interesting anime. This is your typical like overpowered
skill kind of thing. That's not the full title, by the way.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
Let's find out the full title. It's probably 15 words. There it is. Bogus skill, Fruit Master.
Yeah, bogus. That's still not the.
That's not.
Hold on. Bogus skill, Fruit Master. That about that time I became able to eat an unlimited amount of skill fruits. I think that's the name of. Yeah, click on that.
Is that an episode, or is that the full name?
There we go. Here, bogus skill, Fruit Master. About that time I became able to eat unlimited numbers of skill fruits that kill you. In parentheses, that kill you. So this is a typical fantasy anime. We have our main character and his best friend. They're going to get their skill fruit, and the skill fruit determines what they're able to do. It gives them a unique skill, and they're in this church, and this nun-looking character is explaining to them what the skill fruits do, and you can deviate from what your skill fruit tells you to, but you'll struggle at pretty much everything in life if you try to do that. So you follow your skill fruit. And then it goes to explain that if you eat more than one skill fruit, you will die. It acts as a poison. There's been people that have tried to do it and they die within minutes of eating it. And so him and his best friend are really hoping to get combat style skills so they could become adventurers themselves. And the best friend, the blonde, the top, for me, it's top left. I think for you, it's top right. It's also top left there.
I think so.
The blonde is the best friend, and she goes and takes a bite of her skill fruit, and the shit happens, and she ends up getting a sword saint skill. And it's one of those super rare skills that only happen once a decade, and very valuable skill. And she gets whisked away, and she doesn't get immediately whisked away. And so our main character, the guy in the middle there, he goes to take a bite of his skill fruit, and he gets one called Fruit Master, and it allows him to basically grow fruit. Yeah.
Skill fruits?
All kinds of fruits. Just all kinds of fruits. Okay. And so he's been, and it does like a bit of a time skip where he has a little house, and he has a bunch of like fruit garden bushes all around that he's been tending to, and he sells them. And after him eating the thing, his best friend was like, I'm not going to do my sword skin, so I'll stay with you, and we can grow fruit together kind of situation. That's when she gets whisked away from this nun who's like, no, you need to go to the royal capital and train because you have an S rank skill basically, and blah blah blah.
He just wants to live a peaceful life on his fruit shack.
Well, he didn't want to. He wanted to be an adventurer.
Oh, he did.
He wanted to be an adventurer. He still wants to be an adventurer. Every night he goes out and trains with a sword, but can't even put a dent in a tree stump with it because he doesn't have any kind of combat skill.
Got it.
Well, he ends up adopting this little girl who's on the right of him, the little girl with the white hair.
Almost didn't see her.
And he ends up adopting her, and because the village chief came, and her her parents died, and she's an orphan. He kind of just dumps her on him, and he's like, all right, I'll take care of her. And so they go to sell some fruits in the in the village or in the town, and when they come back, the girl had made dinner. And so he's talking about the skill fruits because he's been growing skill fruits for the church, and they have like a skull and crossbones on it. And as he's eating the soup, the girl goes, oh, those fruits in the back there. And he was like, yeah, why? She's like, I added those to our dinner. And he's like, ah, shit. And all of a sudden you hear the and aura goes around him, and then he collapses, and then he immediately gets up, and he's like, why aren't I dead? Well, the girl also ate some of the dinner too, so she gains a skill, and she gains an appraisal skill, and she can see that there was more to his skill than what was originally told to him, and that his Fruit Master skill also negates all poisons from fruits as well.
Wow.
And so he ends up gaining a second skill, which is like a sword god. So whenever he picks up a sword, he gains immense strength and blah, 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 blah. So he ends up going to the Adventurers Guild to register as an adventurer, and all kinds of stuff happened from that. But now he has 2 skills. So I'm curious to see, the title says I can eat unlimited fruits. I'm curious to see if he eats a bunch of skill fruits and gains a bunch of crazy abilities, or if he just sticks with the 2. But, super fun, cute anime. your typical anime trash where
That
you know
sounds like
the
fun, though. Yeah,
the OP gets crazy overpowered because he can take more than what normal people can, and blah 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 blah.
but easy to watch.
Easy to watch,
harmless, and just...
yes, harmless, easy to watch, super fun anime. I have no complaints with it. It's yeah.
The boobs aren't too big.
No. Well, the best friend. I mean, if you go back to the picture, the best friend's got huge tits, which there's always someone with huge tits.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
So, well, but not too big.
Yeah,
like the previous one.
No, it's super generic as far as like character design goes. I mean, everybody in that anime looks like they're from other animes. We have the blonde-haired busty girl. Typically the redhead, and there's a redhead in this one on the title. Typically the redhead is always the one with the smaller bust, and she seems to have bigger tits. And then, there's two redheads actually. Yeah. So we got Dose. We got the Dose redheads.
We got Quattro.
Yeah. Yeah, Quattro titties. But easy to watch, super fun, something to kill time when you're have it on. I enjoy that stuff. We call it trash anime. It's
what, some of the best television and things like that are the trash stuff. They're just quick and easy. They tell a story, they get you done, you're out of there, and it's over with. I think that's actually, there's nothing wrong with that kind of entertainment whatsoever.
No, nothing wrong with that entertainment whatsoever.
Yep.
And the next one I watched was Greatest Alchemist. What's the one labeled Captain? What is that one?
That's our cocktail for the day.
Oh, that's the cocktail of the day. Okay. Yes. So possibly the greatest alchemist of all time. This is an isekai anime, and he is accidentally summoned to a new world. And as they kind of explain to it as like summoning people is kind of like a crane game. And he was accidentally picked up in the summoning process, and he's kind of stuck in limbo with this goddess. And she says, "Hey, we can't put you back, and we're really sorry, that you got summoned into this world. And because of that, I'll drop you in this world, but I'll give you my goddess blessing as a skill, for you to, live a comfortable life there, and so on and so forth." And he's like, "Oh, I have he was like a salaryman kind of thing, young salaryman." And he was like, "Oh, I have a chance of a second life." And so he, it's kind of this fantasy slice of life-ish kind of anime. And he knows that he wants to be an alchemist now. And so he has like an appraisal skill and an item box and all kinds of stuff. And, typical white-haired protagonist, which is another anime trope.
Okay.
You either get the black-haired protagonist who's kind of edgy, or you get the white-haired antagonist or protagonist who's, it's just a typical trope.
Lots of tropes in anime.
Oh god, so many tropes. So many typical tropes in anime. So far I'm liking it. I also like he gets a pet tarantula.
Oh, which right up your alley, Mr. Spider-Man over here.
He ends up taming a tarantula. So he goes into so he's focusing on his alchemy, and it's so funny because he saves this little girl from being attacked, and then he doesn't know where anything is, and he goes back to the village, and then the village just basically welcomes him in, and for thanking him, he they build him a house to live there. And so like he goes to and they're like, "Let's get started building." Everyone's all nice and happy, so and he's like, "All right, well," he's like, "Sorry for this plot of land being so small." He's like, "Oh no, it's fine." And then he uses magic to level out the area, and everyone's like,
"Oh,
what the fuck? Like, you can use magic?
Build your own house."
Yeah. And he was like, and they were like, "Okay, well, leave the rest to us. We'll build the house." So they build a house, and he uses some of his alchemy to furnish the place and so on and so forth. And he's been honing his skills as an alchemist because that's what he wants to focus on, and he has multiple skills and so on and so forth. So but when he goes into the forest to get more herbs and stuff, he's attacked by this giant like wild boar looking monster, and he can't damage it. It's and he's almost getting like this fatal blow, and the spider comes out of nowhere and kind of deflects the attack. And then through alchemy, he ends up defeating the boar by using a disintegrate skill, which is what they use to like disintegrate the metals and stuff.
Okay.
But like he places his hand on the boar's head and uses disintegrate and kills the boar that way.
Ew.
And then he sees the spider, it's all like beat up and missing a leg and stuff. And then he ends up taming the spider, and he was all hesitant about it. It was like, oh God, a spider. And then he asked the spider if they wanted to, if you want to come with me. And then all of a sudden it says like spider tamed, and spider's all stoked and then heals up and stuff. And when he goes back, he shows the village the boar, and they were like, the fuck is that? Because the spider's on his back. He's like, oh, I tamed it. And they were like, insects are untamable though. How did you tame an insect? He's like, I don't know, I did.
I saved him. Now he's my buddy.
Yeah. So, immediately being, specifically a spider guy, I kind of, that was like, all right.
Yeah, I
mean, you got me.
You got my little 7-legged spider friend now.
Yeah, you got me, son of a bitch.
It's true. Some things.
Son of a bitch. I'm in.
Gotta watch it now until they kill the spider. Then you're gonna be mad.
Yeah.
So like that Boston in that show that you always watch.
Oh, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. They chopped that Boston in half. Poor Iggy. Rest in peace.
Not acceptable.
Yeah.
Not acceptable. Well, should we try our Captain Morgan?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Vita Coco spiked with Captain Morgan. We're going to give this a try this morning. I really don't want to drink anything after my weekend in Vegas. Spent 3 days there, and it was crazy, but we had a good time. So we're going to try that right now and see if it's any good. We got cups right here. Of course, the red Solo cup of Country Music Hall of Fame.
So I don't like pina coladas at all.
Oh, this would be perfect.
And so I was going to say no, but Scott was complaining about his trip in Vegas and how he didn't want to drink. So if he doesn't want to drink this, I don't want to drink this. I think I think that was only fair.
So you don't like pina coladas? You don't like pineapple? You don't like coconut?
I don't like coconut.
Really?
I don't. I was allergic to coconut for a really long time.
Oh, wow. Well, you're not anymore?
No.
This is probably artificial coconut anyway.
Oh, well, it's Vita Coca, so it's probably coconut water.
I didn't think about that. That's true. It's funny because Dr. Shocker, who owns Pele Uto, which I probably should have played their commercial, but I forgot. 2 things about Pele Uto this week. One, he doesn't like coconut either.
Okay.
And so, a lot of...
that's really funny. A tiki bar owner doesn't like coconut. Right.
And second, they were so busy Friday and Saturday that they don't have enough alcohol to open today.
Wow. Sounds like a good problem to have.
Place is kicking some ass, and so it's very worth checking out, folks. So, Simone, like pina colada, doesn't look like it. It's clear as water.
No, it is clear as water.
Definitely has the pina colada.
It has a very strong coconut smell. You know what? It would have been really nice, like if they did the Vita Coco, it was coconut, because I like coconut water. I actually like coconut water because it doesn't taste like coconut.
Yeah.
If they just would have done coconut water with like pineapple flavoring in it, I think that would have been cool. But this smells very coconutty.
It very does. It's very coconut forward. So let's give it a try. It's only 0.5 alcohol, so it's easy to drink.
There's
not 0.5, 5.0.
Yeah, there's a good chance that we're both going to throw up in this cup.
Here we go. Everybody watch us spew.
Yeah, I don't like that. Too coconutty.
Tastes fake.
It does taste fake. Also, is it supposed to be carbonated?
I don't know the answer to that because it is not. And that might be part of the
problem. Know what the weird thing is? I don't think it's supposed to be carbonated, but it has like a weird carbonated tingle to it when it
like it's supposed to be carbonated.
Like it's supposed to be carbonated. Yeah. Yeah, not a fan of that. It is very synthetic.
It probably isn't supposed to be carbonated because it's coconut water, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're asking Google. No regular. That's the rum.
Oh. Vita Coco's spiked. Type that in.
It doesn't look like it.
No,
it doesn't look. Oh, Vita, that would probably help.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be. It seems like it should be. That might be part of the problem there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't.
Again, if it just had pineapple flavoring in it and coconut water and then rum or whatever, I think it would be 10 times better.
And I don't know that it is, but it just tastes like fake coconut flavor.
It tastes like very fake coconut flavor, like those nasty coconut candies.
Yes. No.
Yeah, this is terrible.
Sorry. So those of you who like,
maybe if you didn't go on a 4-day bender, maybe it would have tasted a little better too.
No promises.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was crazy. We had such a good time out there, but a lot of the alcohol's free.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Yeah.
And then we went to a bunch of tiki bars. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we survived and had a good time. And, I drove home like Frankenstein. But other than that, we were okay. So,
yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time. But, I have to agree. Pass on that. It's too sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it did have a good flavor, it's way too sweet. Can you imagine drinking a whole one of those things?
God, man, I'd give myself diarrhea.
Oh, it'd be horrible. It'd be horrible. So, that's our recommendation. Try it for yourself. See what you think. But we'll leave it at that.
Disgusting.
All right, what's next?
We had Headhunted to Another World, from Salaryman to Big Four.
And there's a guy with a tie, but he looks like anime.
Yes.
So it's just me, I guess.
So we had, so this starts off with our character kind of explaining his life, and he always ends up getting sent to these other places, other stations, and kind of fixing things, and, through essentially positive reinforcement, and, being just a good boss, so he gets sent to like this new work location overseas, and a lot of people end up quitting right off the bat. And then he put in, hard work and diligence and being kind to the people end up started coming back, and then it becomes a very successful business there. And then when everything, right when he's comfortable and everything's successful, he gets pulled out of it and put onto another offshore location, and he's just tired of it, kind of thing. And next thing you know, he gets summoned in and to this world with monsters and, Demon Lord. He gets summoned by the Demon Lord, and right before he gets summoned, the Demon Lord is explaining that he's already found someone. He's got 3 of his top generals in the army, and he's found someone for the 4th slot. And as he's explaining to it, he ends up, the summoning goes through, and there's our guy, and the 3 generals are like, we don't agree with this whatsoever. We don't agree. This is just a human. He's just a human. What kind of powers does he have? And the Demon Lord, he goes, that's great. He doesn't have any powers. He's not overpowered. He doesn't have any skills, nothing. And they're like, well, how can someone, how
can he do anything against people that do have power?
Yeah, how can he do anything that do have powers, and so on and so forth? He's like, well, how about a test? And so our main character is like super timid. He's like, what the fuck is going on? He's like, I'm gonna die here. He's like, what kind of test? Some kind of battle test, and I'm gonna fail this. And the Demon Lord's like, no, not that kind of test. I'm gonna, we have this, and it's so funny because he's like building allies, for this war against the humans or whatever. And there's this Minotaur tribe that hasn't, given us an answer to why they're, haven't given us an answer to join, the allies, and become an ally with us. He's like, convince him to join. If you convince him to join, then you're in the Big Four kind of situation. And so, on the cover, there's that redhead dragon girl, and she's like, just follow my lead. Don't say anything. You'll screw everything up. And, she's your typical like tsundere character, where she's just totally shut him out kind of thing. And she goes into this giant, they walk up to this giant set of doors, and our character's like, oh my God, this guy's going to fucking smash me. Look at the size of these freaking doors. And they open it up, and there's this giant Minotaur standing there, and she goes in and just immediately starts arguing with him. She's like, why aren't you going to join? And he's like, no. And so he, the negotiations don't go well from there because he didn't do anything. So then he goes back to his room, and he's like, man, what am I doing here? I'm going to die here. And, then he thinks about one of the past clients that he had, where no matter what he said, the clients kept saying, no. But like they seemed interested. And then he remembered that, he was like, I'm going to lose this. And the clients kind of came out and shook his hand, and there was a bit of a language barrier between them, and, ended up working out. And then, so he kind of put that memory to what's going on right now. And then he, there was a bunch of straw outside, and the demon and the dragon girl, the redhead, she was saying like, I can't believe he brings all this trash in here. This is so disrespectful and stuff. And then so he starts building up all this straw and getting all the nice pieces and giving it to the Minotaur. Well, it finds out that the Minotaur wasn't comfortable because they sleep on straw and they kept cleaning up the straw. And so he wasn't getting a good night's sleep. And then he, they didn't show him talking to the Minotaur, but they showed, kind of the Minotaur shaking hands with the Demon Lord. And the chick was like, how did you do it? And he was like, oh, I remember this one client. And he goes over the whole story again.
Okay, interesting.
And, it turns out that the straw was actually what they used for sleeping. And you guys were cleaning it up every day. And he wasn't getting a good night's sleep. So he was kind of agitated because he wasn't getting a good night's sleep. But he was interested in joining the Demon Lord's army and so on and so forth. So I replaced all the straw and did this for him and did that for him. And then, he was on board. So
that's interesting. So he took his past life and was incorporating into the new thing.
Yes.
That's cool. That's good.
Yeah. And the Demon Lords is like, see, this is why I wanted him. I wanted him here for this exact reason, because he has a different look on things and so on and so forth. And, it's not like one to remember or anything else like that, but it's a cute anime, and there's definitely going to be some love tension between the dragon girl and the main character for sure.
Now, what's the name of that one? Because I only have it down as Headhunter, and I know it's more than that.
It's Headhunted.
Headhunted.
I think it's Headhunted to Another World, from Salaryman to Bureaucrat, or from Salaryman to Big Four.
Not nearly as long as other ones. There it is. Headhunted to Another World, from Salaryman to Big Four, just like you said.
Yep.
All right. I'm making a list of these titles so that we can have them for future use. All right. And that one's on Crunchyroll?
That one is on Crunchyroll. Most of these ones that I said were on Crunchyroll, with the exception of Behemoth.
All right. Very good. All right. What else we got? Anything else going on?
Not much going on. You keep pulling up this. It has me super intrigued because it's the anime slot machines. Were there anime slot machines in Laughlin?
When I was at the Aquarius, I came across a machine that was an anime slot machine. And I'm only assuming it was anime based on the artwork.
Uh-huh.
Now the artwork it fluctuates anyway.
Mm-hmm.
This really struck me as an anime. And you
didn't take a picture?
I should have.
Yeah.
But I told you what state I was in.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if I take my phone out, I probably never would have seen it again. But anyway, it was a multi-game. You could pick 4 different games to play, but the one game really looked like anime. The other ones, maybe not so much. And I thought about sitting down and playing it, but we were on the move. We were on the move a lot there, so I didn't have time. But it made me wonder why there aren't more of them. I mean, you would sit down and play anime slot machines.
Yeah, I would.
So I was surprised there weren't more of those there. Now, we were in Laughlin. And Laughlin there's no question about it, for older folks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, it's so nice for me to go to Laughlin and have most people be younger than me. But no, I'm sorry, older than me. Because that's who goes there for the most part. That being said, maybe that's why they don't have the anime games, because the people of that age are not going to sit down and play them.
Yeah.
But it just made me wonder why there weren't more anime machines, because it seems like a perfect match.
Yeah.
But there weren't. So that's the only reason I pulled that episode, to remind myself about that particular anime game. And I wish I'd taken a picture of it, but like I said, that didn't take a picture of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. So what else we got going on here? Anything?
Any other crazy adventures happen in the Laughlin, Vegas?
No, not really. Trying to think of anything. We did go to the new Fontainebleau casino there. Ultra gorgeous, ultra wealthy, not very busy. Don't know how that
was
place
this in Vegas
swing.
or
it was in Vegas, and
what's it called?
A Fontainebleau.
A Fontainebleau.
Fontainebleau. And it's I keep telling myself it was Thursday afternoon, so maybe that's why it wasn't busy, because actually nothing was very busy in Laughlin or Vegas this past weekend. And we went to the 3 tiki bars. We went to Frankie's, and I want to give a shout out to Tanya. Tanya is always at Frankie's.
Yeah.
Every time I walk into Frankie's, Tanya's working. So I'm convinced she's a tiki vampire.
Okay.
I'm convinced she's a tiki vampire.
Speaking of Vegas, did you hear about resort fees getting banned?
Yes, as they should have been a long freaking
Yes.
time
Well, it's
ago.
not that they're banned, is that they have to
show them.
They have to advertise them in the price. It has to be whatever the price you're paying for the hotel room, the resort fee has to be included in it.
I've actually tested it. I've gone to the website, one of the websites there, and I pulled up a room like I was going to get a room. And it says room rate, resort fee, taxes, fees, and it's all listed there. And then the total comes up, so you know what you're paying for each. The resort fees were a scam from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I'd never liked them. That's one of the reasons I always stay at Four Queens when I go down to Vegas and downtown Vegas, because they've never had resort fees.
Yeah.
And they swear they never will. Well, we'll see how long that lasts. But their rooms weren't really any cheaper than anybody else's room. But when you saw a room with a rate that was $99, you knew it was $99.
Yeah.
The other places, oh, look, $39 room rate plus $60 resort fee.
$45
So
for daily resort fee.
Yeah. So and what do they tell you the resort fees for? Well, for the gym, I never use the gym. For the Wi-Fi, is so bad. I'll use my cell coverage.
Cellular.
And something else that they always throw.
It used to say like parking and stuff, but now you have to pay for parking.
Now you got to pay for Four Queens, also free parking as long as you're a guest.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing an advertisement for Four Queens, but I'm doing an advertisement.
I think people are kind of tired of that in Vegas.
They are.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. If you're a guest, you want to pay. You want to do valet parking. You have to pay for that. I remember when valet parking was free. I remember all parking was free.
Yeah.
And then they made it parking was free for guests. And if you weren't staying there, you had to pay for parking. Completely understand
okay with that. Yeah.
And then they made you have to pay for all parking. It's $20 a day.
Yeah, you're a guest and I got paid my own to put my car there. I don't understand that.
Absolutely
either.
Insane.
One of the things that there's a place down there called Downtown Grand that they do, and this is fair too. I have no issue with this. You leave your car with a valet. You don't pay till you pick it up, right? But while you play, once you get to a certain number of points, bing, free valet parking.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I get that because I always get there.
Yeah.
So that also makes sense, but not if I'm a guest. If I'm a guest, I should automatically have the free parking.
Even if you're a guest, if you play enough on a slot machine, you should still earn free valet parking. Yeah.
Yeah. You should. That should be something that every
it's like alcohol, and now Vegas is really tracking the free alcohol thing too.
It wasn't so bad.
It wasn't so bad.
I hear horror stories, and we didn't have a single experience once. Not one time the whole time we were there.
Yeah,
they were very generous with the drink giving, and you don't take advantage of it is the key.
Yeah,
because there are people who go up and they'll put $20 in and stand there and order a drink and expect a free drink. It's not how it works, folks. You got to sit there and play. And I think pretty much as long as they can see that you're going to sit there and play, they don't ask any questions.
Yeah, so. It's just wild. Like my 40th birthday is coming up this year. And Letitia was asking me, is there anything that I want to do or, there's something because 40 is a big one. That's a big milestone. It's
the last one you'll ever like.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. It's not. It's that you'll have people tell you, well, once you hit 40, that's all bullshit.
Yeah, it's all bullshit.
Well, yeah. And here's the thing. Go and enjoy it and just sit down and they'll take care of you, especially if you mention it's your birthday. They were very nice to my mother this weekend because it was her birthday weekend. Not weekend of the days we were gone. But, yeah, just go there and there was some pushback. We saw people approach the bar and ask for a drink, and then he'd bring the drink and the drinks, everything $15.
Yeah, everything
was $15, which is outrageous. No, I'm playing. No, you're not. You're not playing. You put $20 in. And, and you can see that's what the people were trying to do, get a free drink and walk away. Probably didn't even tip.
Because at the bar is a little different from the slot machines around. When you're playing at the bar thing, there's an actual light that comes on.
Red, green light.
Yeah. There's an actual light that comes on in those that shows that you've been playing.
Right.
It's a little different for the slot machines out on the floor.
Because it takes the server time to get around to you.
Yeah.
So they get you a drink, they walk around, you're still at the same machine you've been playing.
Yeah.
It's obvious. The poker bars are different because people will come up and they'll try to get away with getting a drink for nothing and walk away.
Yeah.
But I don't understand. This is the concept I don't understand. Why bump up cocktails to $15 to people who aren't walking around? Just, if I'm sitting there playing, charge me $1.50 for a drink. I'm fine with that. $1.50 is cheap.
Yeah.
But because people abuse it. That's what we end up getting screwed on. And by the way, there's a couple of places in Laughlin where you can drink cheap anyway.
Yeah.
We found a martini bar, and all the martinis are $7 or $8.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that place.
It's great. It's at the Riverside, which is not the greatest casino in Laughlin, but that martini bar is and plus they have a steakhouse right next door. So if you want to go next door and get some prime rib, you can do that.
Right next door and get some prime rib.
That's right. It's really, really kind of cool. But we didn't do anything special. We went to Frankie's. We went to Red Dwarf, which, by the way, many people told me at many different places in Vegas that Red Dwarf had the best pizza in town. Red Dwarf is like a dive tiki bar. It's really kind of weird. And you don't think of them as food, but I swear to you, it is the best pizza in town.
Really?
It is really freaking amazing.
Huh.
And we went one other place that I can't remember where it was, but we did. I wonder why I can't remember where it was. I know I can't remember what it was.
No.
But
Did you end up losing everything, or did you come out with a little profit?
Okay.
Okay.
Did okay. I did okay. I pretty much stayed even the whole way through, and that's always a win.
Oh, okay.
So that was good. Yeah, my mom though, she won lots.
Did she?
She won lots.
Damn.
Because she always does. And I forgot your check this morning. I meant to bring it to you, but I'll get it for you soon. So because we're gonna get in that habit of doing that.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. All right, folks. So I guess that's it, huh?
Yeah, I think that's it for today. A little shorter than normal show, but that's all right.
Happy 2025 to everybody out there.
Yeah.
I forgot. Here we are, 2025
this
already.
This is the start of season 12, right?
Season 12.
Yeah, season 12.
Alcohol show.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Johnny asked me the other day, what's the anime and alcohol show? Is that a new show you do? I go, no, it's the same anime show. Didn't it have another title? Yeah, 10 years ago. Okay. That was
no anime and something other. We used that for quite a bit of time.
About half and half, wouldn't you think? At this point?
No, I think it's more like 30-70.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
We use that name for quite some time. See what the alcohol
does? Stay away from booze, kids. It's not good for you.
Yes, but adults flock to it. It helps so many problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can talk about box office real quick.
Talk about what?
Box office.
Oh yeah, box office
I'm kind
stuff.
of curious to see how things went. Because I know Mufasa has suddenly picked up. Sonic the Hedgehog was ahead of it, and Mufasa gathered some steam starting Christmas Day. So much so that some pundits were accusing Disney of buying their own tickets, which has worked in the past. It worked for that faith-based movie. I don't remember the title of it, but they were selling tickets to the churches, and the churches were giving them away to the church members. And then the church members wouldn't go see the movie. They just throw tickets away, but it still counted towards the box office.
Maybe they'll do that with Snow White.
Maybe not that many people got away with it. Well, yeah, we'll see about that. Anyway, Mufasa right now is sitting at about 366 worldwide. So that's 366 million. So that's pretty good. Now, I heard somebody complaining about Sonic not doing good worldwide, but it hadn't opened worldwide. But
yeah,
it just did. And you can see it's catching up real quick.
Yeah.
With Mufasa there.
$285 million worldwide.
Yeah. So will that mean there'll be another one?
Oh, for sure.
I would imagine.
Oh, for sure.
I would really imagine so. And let's see what we got for this weekend. Mufasa, as they say, is still the number one place. I don't know what. It's just weird that the steam that picked up on all of a sudden like that. Sonic the Hedgehog is number 2. That's pretty much where this ends here. That's not much help. Oh, there we go. Moana 2, of course, is number 3. Moana is just, who would have thought these movies would make this much money? And Nosferatu, still doing very well. Number 4, it's the director's biggest hit ever. Robert Eggers is his name. That's a weird movie, dude. It's a good movie. I really enjoyed it, but it's trippy.
It's a weird one.
It's trippy, yeah. Which is the kind of movies that guy makes. He did The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain struggles to get out of your skull the whole time you're watching it.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Anyway, that's the box office.
I've been playing some video games with Nathan lately. I've been playing the new Monster Hunter Wilds is going to be coming out soon, and that's big giant monsters, little guy, big weapons, crazy stuff.
Sounds like fun.
It is a lot of fun, but I've been playing Monster Hunter World. And many years ago, when Nathan and I were first friends, we started playing Monster Hunter Worlds together on the PlayStation. And, we would play Monster Hunter Worlds in the evening, and then we would go to work and we would chat while we were working and talk about Monster Hunter World while we were working, and then get home and play more Monster Hunter Worlds. And I grinded the shit out of that game. I didn't realize how much grinding needed to be done in that game to and this game came out a while ago, 2018, so it's not like a new game or anything. And so I wanted to play with Nathan again, but this game has really annoying cutscenes that can't be skipped. And if you're going into like a quest, essentially it's a quest-based game. It's made by Capcom, and it's a quest-based game. So you pick up a quest, and then you go into the map area of the land that you want to go to, and then you have to hunt that specific monster. Well, if there is a cutscene associated with that monster, you have to go in solo until that cutscene plays. And when that cutscene is over, then like Nathan could join and then come help me slay the monster. Super annoying because like, if it's a really difficult monster, you kind of have to play solo until Nathan gets to you kind of thing. And until Nathan gets to me,
it's almost like it could kill you before he got there.
It happens. Yeah. It happens. And so like, I wanted to get back to where I was. Now I was hunter rank 49 in the game when we stopped playing on the PlayStation. About the time the DLC was coming out, we just kind of stopped playing it. And I think it was because I got a PC, to be honest.
Oh, maybe.
Because I built my PC.
Yeah.
But
you built your monster PC.
Yeah. And so I wanted to get back out. So I was using mods to like make my weapon stronger just so I could get through where I was to catch up where I was on the PlayStation. And then I turned the mods off. Well, I beat the game last night. And then that unlocks the hunter rank to get to higher levels and take on stronger monsters and stuff like that. But oh my God, it is a fucking grind. It is a grind and a half. Holy moly. I did not realize how much we grinded on that game. Absolutely insane.
And you and Nathan are playing together still? Or?
Yeah. We were playing the DLC last night.
And you're playing it on the PC. PlayStation?
No, PC.
Oh, you're on the PC.
Yeah, we're playing on the PC.
Right, cool.
But Monster Hunter Wilds comes out next month.
And I was wondering what got you interested in it.
Yeah, I really want to play the game, but money's tight and everything, so I don't know if I'm gonna have them $70 to buy a new game.
Yeah.
But I mean, it looks good.
Yeah. Well, things will get better.
Yeah.
It looks to me like things are already expanding for you, so that's good news. Yeah. So, all right, folks, we'll see you next week. I think that all my vacations are over until April.
Okay.
So we'll be
when you go to Hawaii.
That's when we go to Hawaii. Yeah. So we'll be on the air until then. Sorry that I missed last week, and thank you all for
watching
here
last week
and listening. Oh no, we didn't skip this show.
No, we didn't skip this show.
The other shows.
Skip the other shows.
Yeah.
We're technically your first show of 2025, right?
That's true. Yeah, we are absolutely. So let me change that. I apologize that I was here last week.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll see you next week, and we'll see you in the future. And thanks again. Subscribe if you feel like it. And again, I tell the people this all the time. Just subscribe anyway. It doesn't hurt you. It helps us.
Yeah, subscribe or follow. Subscribe for YouTube and follow for Twitch.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to pay anything to follow. If you want to subscribe to us and get notified, and because subscribing on Twitch, you actually pay. I think it's like $4 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. So, and that obviously goes to the creator, and that chunk of it goes to Twitch and everything else like that. But
that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair as long as it's doing that.
Yeah,
and you can follow and subscribe on YouTube and Spreaker for free.
Yeah,
so just do that, just because it makes us look good, and God knows we need it.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge, located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.